Anita, you can start now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to MCAEC's Empower Me series. Today's session is on practical proven tips to Excel users by Mark Lancy Mendonca. Microsoft Excel is a tool of choice for most professionals when it comes to data calculations, analysis, presentations, etc. This powerful tool, when used in combination with other Microsoft Office tools such as Word and PowerPoint, makes it even more powerful. A very few have conquered how this powerful tool can be leveraged at personal and professional life to make them effective and efficient. Mark Mendonca has shared some of his experiences during last summer class for MCAEC. Due to public demand, he will be sharing his personal experiences with anecdotes leveraging MS Excel tool. A brief bio on Mark. Mark Mendonca is working as Director for Enterprise Transformation at global consulting company and providing specialized advisory services to Fortune 500 companies. He is a seasoned IT professional with 25 years of experience in leading and transforming IT organization. As stretch objective, Mark led large employee resource groups of nearly 1,500 employees and received award from CEO for leveraging the power of diversity and inclusion. He also served as president and area governor of Toastmaster International and received Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Last but not the least, he is the founding member of MCAEC. He has led the MCAEC organization twice as president and has been instrumental in crafting a vision for MCAEC. Mark has a BE in computer science and MBA from Rutgers Business. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Anita, and welcome everyone for our Empower Me series. This session happens once a month on fourth Sunday of the month. We started this about a year and last year, 2016, January, and it's been running every month. The idea of this session is to empower our members, our listeners on very varied topics. And today happened to be an Excel topic. Many of us use Excel in our daily life, and Excel is a very vast subject we cannot cover in 1 hour. But what we're trying to do here today is some of the practical tips that we have, some of the things that I have used in my life, in professional life and personal life, that has helped me to excel, or that helped me to be effective and efficient at work. So I'm going to share some of those, and those who can see my screen, um, I'm going to touch upon 5 different topic areas. And if you need this template that you have, that you watch now, you can send me an email. My email address is lancymark@gmail.com. That's on the front page, you can see. You can also see me at LinkedIn. And if you send me email, I should be able to send this template if you want to try or do more research on this own. Also, if you have a laptop and Excel, you can follow along um, as I go through this. On the right hand side, you see is Empower Me, is part of Empower Members, is part of our MCA's transformation journey that we have, and that's why we conduct. Teaching is one of the most important thing. Just like a candle, when you light the other candle, overall the brightness increases, right? And it's exactly the same thing. When you learn something, when you know something, if you teach another person, the overall the knowledge increases and will be better off. And with that, today's catchy word, each one teach one, I want to kick off this session. So here is a good agenda that we are going to have. I'm going to have 5 different topics, as I said. You see this on the front page, the 5 different areas, the topics, and the tab that corresponds to this topic area. For example, data management, we're going to the SAL data tab, which is a green tab here. Then data manipulation, we'll go to the copy reference and grades tab. These are the 2 tabs that we're going to, that is yellow or gold and a little bit pinkish color. Then we'll go to data visualization. There's a typo here, 5 and 6, so 6 different topics. Then we'll go to charts and dynamic charts on data visualization. That's in those two tabs here, charts and dynamic charts. Data organization, we'll go to the pivot table. There is a pivot tab. Data refresh, where is the live data tab, and then finally the macros. So the topic seems to be very difficult, or sometimes you feel that too hard, but it's an attempt from my side to make this very easy. Even a non-programmer should be able to write. For example, if you talk about macros, people say, "Oh, I didn't know programming language," but you don't need to. And I'm going to show you how you all can do that in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so let me start. Uh, First, management. See, as you go through these um, six topic areas, it'll become little increasing difficulty. So I'll start with the easiest stuff. The reason is we have a wide variety of audience today, where people just started with Excel, and they just know how to enter data, and then not more than that. And then there are other users who want to, other listeners, they want to probably need to know a little bit higher and stuff. So that's why I've added this topic and come up with a agenda that caters to all the audience. So let's start with the first one, which is I'm going to talk about sorting, duplicate, formatting, and validation. So I'm going to the SAL tab here. There is a employee name, department name, salary, active, 10% raise, right? So for example, first and foremost thing, if you have a table like this or a column like this, there is something called filter. You can always use filters. And to get to the filters, you can go to data and you can just say filters. So what will happen is, let's say I want to filter someone with, let's say, Donna, right? You can just see only Donna here. Or if you want to filter, let's say, John, and how many Johns are there? So you will see there are 2 Johns, right? So this is the filter, and you can clear the filter. You can see a subset of the data using the filter. That's a simple thing. Second thing is, you probably want to see if there are a lot of data which are duplicates, and how do you want to remove duplicates. Like for example, in this, right, we'll have one more called Nora, and then Mira, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different values, and some of them are duplicates. So how do I remove duplicates? So you just click on the table and just say remove duplicates. Which column it says, and just say, so it has removed all the duplicates. So you have only 5. So that's how you remove the duplicate. If you have a lot of data which needs to be duplicate, you want to remove the duplicates. That's how you can do that. Same thing you can do this here too. Like I can go and say remove of duplicates. Now the next thing is, when you enter something, this, for example, this, we want to go and fill this value. So column D, whether it's yes or no, right? When you do a drop down, you see yes or no. It should not take any other value. Let's say I want to do this. It should not take. Whereas here, if I want to do yes or no, it should be yes. Yes, right? It should take only yes or no values. Or you want to create something like this. How do you do this? This is called data validation, right? You want to create a list of values as a drop down, and you just want to make sure that the user enters only those values. Let's say you have a gender, it's male and female, right? So you want to restrict those values. How do you do that? So you go here and go to data, and then go to data validation, right? Data validation, and here you say list, and list you put value. Now I'll put not applicable. Let's say another value, right? So I added yes, comma no, comma not applicable. Now going forward, this should take 3 values. See, yes, no, not applicable. As simple as this. Okay, the last one here is to create a formula, right? Now I want to give a 10% raise for each of these employees, right? Let's say somebody is making $8,000. We want to give 10% raise and make that, $800. If this person is 7,000, 10% will be 700. So how do we do that? So I will do equal to any formula that you want to create. You have to start with the equal to, and then this times 10%. As simple as that. So that is $800, right? Now, if I want to copy this for all of this, I can do one thing. You can just see here with the plus sign appears, or you can just keep on dragging this way, right? It will go copy. Or other option is you just double click. See, it copied to all the rows, right? For example, 800, right? 7,000, 700, wherever it's 4,000, you see, 400. So we gave a 10% rise. Now I'm telling you this because in the next screen we'll go to a different one where copy doesn't work, and that's why I wanted to illustrate this. So this is about, you know, how to filter it, how to sort, how to duplicate. So you can do also sort. I think I should have showed you this. So let's say I want to sort employee name, all these employees by name, right? So I say data. You can do sort. You can do which based on what you want to sort. You want to sort the employee name, ascending order or descending order. So if you say Z to A, that means descending order, right? That's a descending order. See, it's all sorted by descending order. Very simple. Okay. Now go to the second here tab where you start talking copy reference. Now these are the mileage. Let's say for the first 20 weeks, here is the mileage that I have, right? On week 1, I drove 100 miles. Week 2, I drove 20 miles, 200 miles. Week 3, 150 miles. Now, those who travel or consulting or IRS has a 53.5 cents per miles you can reimburse from your company. Now, how do I calculate how much money I'm going to get? So, last time we saw a formula, right? If I do this times this, I should be able to get. So, I traveled 100 miles at 53.5 cents. I should be getting $53.05. Now, going by last example, I do double click, right, or copy. You are assuming that it should have copied all those for, let's say for 200, it should have been 106, right? 106 or 107 miles, sorry, $107. It's not happening. Why? See, when you double click, it go, right? It copies the exact same pattern. So you see, for example, here I said multiply this and this, right? When it goes here, see, it has tried to multiply this and this. You see that? So when you go here, it's multiply this and this, but that value is blank. So how do I make sure that doesn't skip? I still have to refer this. In the previous example, it worked because every time this number was changing and I wanted the number. But in this example, I want to have this value constant. How do I do that? So to do that, so you go here and click on this, that B1, I want to be constant, and press F4. So that F4. So when you do F4, it will put a dollar sign, right? Dollar B and $1, which means that particular column B1, you want to keep it constant. Everything else should change. So now I double click. See, so $107, right? $80 for 150. So it kept that number constant, whereas this number changed. If you look at it, right, only the dollar signs are there only for B1 and not for E2. If I put E2 also dollar signs, or if I hit F2 or here, or sorry, F4 here, it would have put a dollar there. And if I continue, it would not have copied the numbers. It would have given you wrong results because it continues to be 53.5. So let's do F4. That's this. So this, I'm keeping both B1 and F2 constant, which means everywhere those two numbers are keeping constant. Okay, now let's move on to the third one here, grades. Now let's say we have a lookup table. A plus means 4.33 weight, right? When you get A, you get 4. When you get B, you get 3. When you get C, you get 2. And when you get D, you get 1. A minus is 3.66. B plus is 3.66. 3. B is 3, right? This is how the way it is, and that's how you calculate the GPA. Now let's say there is Mr. John Adams, right? He has 4 terms: first term, second term, third term, fourth term, and here are the subjects that he's taking, and these are the scores that he gets. Grades that he's going to get, right? Now we want to calculate the GPA. Now let's say he got B, he changed to 3.7. Here let's say he got C, 3.63. What it is really doing is when you say B, it takes the corresponding value from here and calculates what is called a GPA. Now, how I'm doing this? Now I have hidden some columns here. So let me do unhide. Okay. So if you see here, this B column corresponds to this. C column, second term, corresponds to this, because these weights are coming from here. Now let's say I make it as A. So if I make this as A, this should change to 4, right? So if I make it to A, it should change to 4, right? If I make this to B, this should change to 3. If I make this to A, let's say A plus, this should change to 4.33. It is changing. And it is calculating average here, average here, average here, average here. Look at it, average. This is average of this. That's the formula I'm using. I told you equal to and something will give you a formula. And then I'm taking this. This is average of all these 4. And that's the number I'm referencing here. If you look at it, this number coming from here, right? Equal to J10. That's what is coming from here. So that is why whenever I change here, right, it picks up the value from this lookup table, updates this table, and calculates GPA. Now, how do I do this? Right? This is one example of that. What if there is a let's say 10 means legal department, 20 means manufacturing department, right? And so on and so forth. You can have a lookup table. You can have a what is called a code table. Or if the change is to, let's say, instead of 4, you change it to 4.1, all A's now will change here to 4.1. I'm just changing it one place here, and I'm hitting enter. See, all this, wherever this A, it changed to 4.1. Now let's say B is now weight is 3.5. All the B's are changing. See, at 3.5, and GPA is calculated. See, I'm just changing it one place with a lookup table. Wherever there is reference, is going to change it. Now this is a little complicated. We call it as a lookup table. I'll show you how to do that. Let me show you one of them. Right? So I'm saying VLOOKUP is the formula. Look at this. So B3, right? That's what it is. B3. Take this table that is here and give me the second column. See, is second column, and that's what it is. So it's as simple as this. It's called VLOOKUP. It's a very powerful tool. You have a lookup table. You change it once, everything gets changed. So you need to learn this. And false is by default, you should put it as false, otherwise it will be true, and we don't want to happen true. The reason is true means I think it finds the first value that approximately matches. We don't want to happen. False means we want an exact match, and that's why you have to put false. Okay, so this is called lookup table. Very, very powerful tool. There are many, many examples of it. I have written various formulas based on that. I had to, at one point, I had a project where 100 plus people were working. They used to enter their timesheet, they used to enter their expenses. I used to get every week 5 meg file from one company, and then consulting company another file. I had to reconcile all this, the rates, the employee rates, number of hours they charge, all this I had to put in one lookup table and calculate how much we did to billing. It's very, very powerful. I showed you a very simple way here for grades. If you want to, if you're a student, if you want to see how your grades are coming through, how you're making progress, this is a lookup table that I've showed here, but you can have use this. It's a very powerful tool in many different ways. So next I'm getting into the charts, and many of you know how to create charts. You have seen the bar charts, you have seen the pie charts. So let me go into these two charts in a while, but before that, I'll show you how to create a chart. Now, let's say I want to create a chart for, so this is our portfolio, right? You have bonds, your money market, your stocks, and asset type is total bond, cash, and so and so. So let's create a bar chart. How does it look? So just click on this and say insert, so bar chart, let's say this one, and you got a chart, right? So it's as simple as that. Now, if you want to change this chart to a different, right, different color, you can just do that, right? So let's say you want like this, like this. It's very easy. Now, if you want to add labels to that, you just say add data label. So it'll tell you how much is the value. All the values are coming. Now you want the labels at the bottom here. So just says right click, select data, and you just say what it is. Here the labels. You just say point to, I want this. Let's say, right. See, you got all that at the bottom here. And if you want to, after that, if you want to bold it or put a different color, all those things you can do, right? It's very easy. Now I'm going to show you a different chart. Everybody knows this. Now, if you want to change this from a bar chart to a different, let's say pie chart, you just say right click, go to chart type, and you change it to, let's say, pie chart, and there you go. Okay. It became a pie chart. So most of the people know how to do this, but I'm going to show you a different chart since you know all of it. I deleted that. Now this is a very powerful way, and I want to show this particular chart for a reason. Um, I was showing this. My wife had uh, a job where she had to come up with a monthly report for the management, and it used to be very complicated, which where they have to identify how many people are hospitalized, how many are depression, how many are postpartum depression, blah 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 blah. Right? It used to be very difficult, and when you put exactly in a they used to create a report in Word. Just put, okay, we got 20 people admitted. Out of this, 23 are, 18 are, depression. Out of this, 6 are postpartum depression, and 3 are something else, something else. Nobody used to able to grasp that. Or in a situation here that you have, let's say, um, total bond, cash, and then this is all stocks, right? You just want to see how much is the stock, how much is in bond, how much is money market. So it says, see, total bond is 20,000, money market, sorry, total bond, cash is 10,000, and remaining is all stock, right? Remaining all stock, but you want to see in a different way. So for example, if you invest 100,000, 10,000 is cash, 20,000 is bonds, which is 10 and 20%, remaining is 70%, which is 70,000, right? That is all stock. And how the stocks are spread: large cap, 22, mid cap 18, small cap. See, this particular area is divided into this. So this is how I draw a picture for my wife. Her VP really liked it, and she said, you're very good in analysis or giving up with charts. So she in fact ended up getting a promotion where she could analyze data. So this is what I'm talking about, how powerful these things are when you try to explain data that is in a very, very simple way, and it's very easy to do. Now, what you need to do is to do this, or let me teach you from here. So you click here, insert, right? There is a chart here, like this, whichever type you want, you can say. Now you have to say on the right click, and you have to say how many you want in the first one. Values in the first plot, right? If you want 1, if you want 0, you want increase, see? So this is what I think we have, right? So now you can add data labels. That's it. So as simple as this. So this is one chart. I don't know what I did. Okay, this is one chart I was talking about. Second one is called spider chart. Again, see, for example, here is the month we have an average high temperature, actual high temperature recorded, right? In New York, let's say January, you have average high is 38, February is 55, so on and so forth, and actual recorded this. So average is in blue, actual is in light blue. So you can see, looking at it, you will know that in the month of February and September, October, probably these 3 months, average is higher than the actual, right? That's where it is overlapping. Or in other words, actual is higher in this month where you don't see the dark blue color. It's a very simple way of doing it. So what we do is highlight this, insert, and do what is called a radar chart or spider chart here. See, you can just create this chart. You can do different type of chart. If you don't like the colors filled, you can have a different type of chart. So this is also powerful and various ways of explaining things. So I'm going to the next one called dynamic chart. Now, if you look at it, here are the department and here is the revenue, right? And I've created a chart here. Now, what if tomorrow you're adding another department, let's say logistics, okay? And it is supposed to be $3,000, for example. See, I was expecting to add one more column here, and you add one more, like whenever you add new department, or there are situations where, let's say, regions are, additional regions is created, additional department is created, something that happens in addition to what it is, right? When the data gets added, you need to have a dynamic chart, which means the additional bars will be added or subtracted. How do you do this, right? There is a complicated way of doing it, but there's an easy way also to do it. Now, what I do is I'm just doing a Control Z, which means I'm undoing stuff, right? So the easy way to do is, okay, highlight this and say it's a table. And I'm saying, okay, now you see, that's all I did. Now if I say logistics, see, you see logistics added. And if I put 3,000 here, see, graphic added. Say one more group, one more department, let's say we have marketing, logistics, we have HR, we have legal, um, one more department, um, let's say compliance. See, compliance is added, and we'll put 2,000 by created. So this is what I call dynamic chart, where you can add the graph grows as the table grows, and it's a very simple way. As I said, just go and say that this is the table. Okay, so far, Anita, do you have any questions, or should we continue with the next three?
Yeah, I think there is one question on filters.
Okay,
How do you filter if there are rows without data in it?
how do you filter rows? Oh, that's so. Let's say I'm here.
Supposing in between you don't have data, sometimes it doesn't show the ones after that, right?
Yeah. So what happens is if there's a data, there'll be a column extra value called blank here. We just check on blank. So for example, let's say one of these is blank here, right? Okay. So you just do. So you should have a blank here. The blank. So you just select all. That means I'm doing unselecting, and now I'm checking only on the blank. Blank. That is what you do. If the column is blank, you just go there and blank it out. I'm doing Control Z. All right, let's me move forward then. I was at dynamic chat, so I'm getting into a very, very interesting topic, and this is very powerful topic called pivot. And many people who know pivot can have done wonderful things, and I've done wonderful things just learning pivot table. So I'm going to teach that what the pivot table means. Now, let's say you have a massive amount of data. Okay, so here, employee number, employee ID, employee name, department, department name, salary, bonus, total compensation, and region. So let's say I want to understand here. I created a table, and I'll tell you how to create this table. Very simple. How many are HR, and what is the total of salary for HR? 28,000. Information technology, 48,000. Which means wherever it says HR here, let's say, okay, I filter that. Now, if I add this up, if I add this up, it should be coming to 28,000. Now, small trick here. So if you look at it at the bottom, it says say here average is 4,000, count is 7 rows and 28,000. So one way of doing it is creating a filter and just filtering by HR. Now let's say I want to do HR and legal. So HR and legal is coming. And if I just go and highlight this, it should tell me there are 13 rows and total is 58,000. But instead of doing one by one, one by one, one by one, so how do I make sure I create a table for each of these departments and how many are, or what is the total salary? How do I do that? And then I have a graph here showing HR, information technology, how to create that, right? That's what I'm going to show. Now, on top of it, let's say you have west, north, whatever it is. I want to see only people in western region, what is there. So if you look at it, I'm just uh, checking only west, and you see in the west we have information technology, legal, manufacturing, and their salary is this 93,000. If I see all of them, west and east, 147,000. So and the graph also changed accordingly. See, you see information technology, legal, and manufacturing, information technology, legal, manufacturing, right? So or and then others are there too. So or you can just go and change here. So you say sales. I don't want sales. I want everything else. So sales is gone now. See, or if you don't want sales and legal, I just want to see rest. See that's gone now. Only three, right? How do I do all this? Um, and it's very, very, very simple. Okay, this is called pivot table. If you know this, it's very, very easy. Now I'm good since I'm going to keep this and create one more right here next to it, right? Because some of you may need this. Um, let me preserve that. Okay. What you do is first highlight what data you want to create a pivot on. I'm highlighting all of it. Or rather, let me delete this so that I will create new. So I'm creating new, right? Now I'm going to highlight this, right? I've highlighted the entire data set that I want. I want it from row 2 all the way, all the columns, and all this data, right? Until here. This is what the data have. I have 50 rows. Okay. Now you just say insert pivot table, right? Insert pivot table. You want it, then it'll ask you whether it's a new sheet or existing sheet. Let's create here only. Then it's asking where I'm supposed to create. So I'll say let me create here, right? I'm just giving the location that I want to create here. If it's a new sheet, it will create a totally new sheet. Now, you look at it, it's very, very simple. Here it shows how you want, what you want in rows, what you want in columns, right? And in our previous group that we saw, we said we want department name in rows, right? And salary in values. I'm just dragging it here. See, that's how it is. If you want, I can just create here and column. So that's what it is. So now I can always go and say I don't want this, I don't want this. See, it shows. Or if you say you don't want HR, you can say, right? It's very simple. Now I'm clicking here again. I want to show you something different. See, remember last time we saw this, but I also wanted to filter by West region. So region, I'm filtering here. See, I'm dropping it here. Now I have this. So I'm saying I want only South and West. I don't want anything else. I want I want all of this. See, now I want this only for all regions, right? You should get 330,000, which is all together, right? 331,000. That's a total. Now, if I do it for only East and West, East and West is checked in, only 147,000. If I don't want anything else, only HR. Sorry, don't want HR. That's how it is. So HR is eliminated. Now you saw that at the table, right? It's very powerful. You know, this we have only 50 rows. What if you have 50,000 rows, right? I've done 50,000 rows, 100,000 rows. As I said, in the previous company where I had to do the time and expenses entry. This is how I used to do for, I used to create tables, pure tables. I used to create graphs. Now, what I'm not showing is how to create a graph for this, right? Just say here, insert pure chart, pure chart. So let's say I want this chart, right? So now the charts are there. Now I previously, like you see, I can do only two regions or everything. See, you can do marketing, or you don't want marketing and sales. Marketing and sales is gone. Marketing and sales is gone. So the pure table, this is called pure table, this is called pure chart, and it's very, very powerful. I think everyone should know. If you know this, you can master things. Now the next one is the live data. So let's say you have this is Dow Jones and S&P, where the index value, every time it changes. There's a website. Let's say here we have a website called. Oh, so let me skip this and come back a little later. So if there's a website called finance.yahoo.com, where this data is, as the market continues, the data gets changed, but you want to pull that data from the website and show it to you every time you want to refresh it and show it in your Excel sheet. Or there's a dollar value compared to exchange rate, right? There's a company website called www.xrates.com where you have they publish exchange rate every second, but in your Excel you want to pull that data every now and then. You can set the interval and you can create the graphs. And based on this data, let's say you have portfolio, right? You have stock prices and you have portfolio. You can create a table and you can reference here and show how much money you make every few hours, a few seconds, or whatever you want to do. So I will come to this in a minute, but I wanted to get into macros and then give some time for questions. So to do this is very simple. All you have to do is insert. You have to say data, and you have to say data from web, right? Just say, then you have to say which website you want to do. Let's say I want to do finance.google.com, and then it will go there, right? And then now see this data, wherever there's a table in this website, right? Wherever this table, let's say this table, if you want to get this data, double click and say import. So that table will be replaced. So every time you go there in this website, in this tab, it will find the data and put the data here. So let me go to the macros. So macros is something like, okay, let me explain differently. Now let's say in the previous example, we sorted this, right? Now to sort this, I said you do go highlight data and you say sort. Now I'm sorting on say, state from Z to A, which means a descending order. So let's say ascending order. So now it's an ascending order, right? Now instead of this, let's say I want to do sort data and say ascending order, but this time it is not based on the state, but based on the members, right? So now it's sorted. Now I don't want to do this all this exercise, right? So this is one thing I did sort, but what if I have to do sort? Then I have to remove duplicates. Then I have to highlight few values. Then I have to go to different tabs, get some data and all those things. So that manual work that you do every time, it's laborious and you could be doing mistakes. So you can create what is called a button, and the button can do that. So I'm doing sort ascending. See, it's doing ascending now. See, right? It's already ascending. Now if I say start descending, it's already done descending. Start ascending, start descending, start ascending, start descending. So before I showed you the ascending, descending, exactly going to data, sort and all those things, I created what is called a macro and created a button here. When I click the button, it does the work for me. So it doesn't have to be just ascending. Whatever manual work you have, let's say if it takes 5 minutes for you to do, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can do all that through a macro and it will does for that. And I'll show you one of the things which I've done if the time permits, or you can call me and I can show it to you. But how do you do this now? For example, the same thing that I've done here, so we'll do it here. This is called macros, and to create macros is called programming language. You need Visual Basics, I believe. But I don't know Visual Basics. But at the same time, I want to get the work done, right? But I know what to do, right? So let's do this. How to do this? Okay. Now you have a developer button here, and if you don't know how to, if you don't have this tab, you can add this through file and your options. You can add that, or you can Google it and see how to do this. So developer options. So what you have called a record macro. What does it do is when you click this, whatever actions you do until you stop macro, it'll keep and write scripts, write programming behind you. So let's do this. So I'm doing developer. I'm doing record macro, right? It asks for a macro name. So let's say macro 3. I don't care, right? Or we just say MSN. This is MSN. That means I'm doing ascending order. Macro ascend. The macro ascend is for ascending order. So what I will do is click here. Now I have to do exactly what I'm supposed to do. Data. Let's say I want to do sort. I want to sort by state. Okay. Or you can do members too. Let's create members, and then because the other one was sorting by state, let's do this sort by um, and largest. So ascending order is smallest to largest. Let's say okay. So you did that, right? Now I have to say go and stop recording, because if I don't stop recording, it will do exactly. It will continue to do. Now I'll just say enter. I have finished recording. Whatever you want to do, I'm doing some up arrow, down arrows. I'm clicking on this tab. Whatever you want to do is still recording until I press stop recording. Now it has created that, right? Okay. Now what we need to do is create a button so that now it has recorded what I've done, but now I've created a button so that it remembers what I do. So I'll create a button here. I clicked on it. So here is a button. Let me call it as ascend. Okay. So this is a button called ascend. I can rename it ascend. Okay. Now what I need to do is right click and assign that macro. Remember when you gave the name called macro ascend? I'm just saying that now anytime I create, see, so I'm going back and now every time I click on this, if I can try to delete this. Every time I click on this, see, whatever action we did, even if I take it out, right? I deleted this, I did something, whatever I did. Now if I click on this, whatever I did on the previous time, see, I did a ascending order on members, and I typed this. It remembers all that by the click of a button. It is doing all of it. Okay, that's the macro. And this is a simple macro that we created, but you can do it very, very complicated things. So we are about 45 minutes out, and I want to, whatever I wanted to cover, I've covered. Um, and let me take a few questions, Anita.
On the live chat, Mark, I don't see any questions. So if you had something to show on the live data you were saying, probably we can go with that.
Yeah, on the live data, I think covered that. What I was trying to show you earlier is, let's say you have a website, right? We have a website here called what is the website? I don't know whether you're able to see this. So if you have a website here, and let's say finance.yahoo.com, okay, finance.yahoo.com, or where you see a table like this, and you want the data to be refreshed on your Excel sheet. I think in Google you have. You have a table here, Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P, and Nasdaq. This data gets changed at 9:30 to 4 on the trading day, or these data get changed. Now, let's say you want to get this data referenced here and changed in your Excel sheet every now and then. How do you do it? That's what I was trying to show you earlier. Let me do it again. Delete. Okay. Now let's say I want to get that data. I want to um, get the finance data. Let's say this data I want to get, right? How the world markets are doing in my Excel sheet. So just say data from web. Just say which website you want to do. Any website you can say. Finance.google.com. And now it points, right? This table I want to do. Just to import where you want to show. Now it is the data is whatever is there in the website. Whenever the website changes, let's say Google publishes or refreshes the data, my spreadsheet gets updated. And then I can have, let's say, here, once it is here, I can create graphs, right? Insert graphs. I can create some graphs, right? Um, you know, so delete. So let's say I want to create some graphs here. Insert graphs. Graphs. So the beauty of it is, whenever Google changes these numbers, and they change every now and then, right, on a trading day, this pulls the data, updates the data, and it updates the chart also. And label, you can do whatever you want to do here, one time. So it's a cool way of showing any data that is getting refreshed also on your spreadsheet. Okay, so what we just to summarize, we have 10 minutes left. We went through the data management.
Mark,
In the data, yeah.
there's one more question. How do you hide data like you showed on the grade chart?
How do you hide data?
On that grades chart, right? Yeah, the grades one, the pink worksheet.
Oh, okay. So great. Okay. So
Yeah,
hide. Highlight whatever you want. Right click and say hide.
yeah, just hide. Okay.
Right, and you can always unhide. Okay. Other thing is you can also hide the tabs if you don't want to show some tabs. Right. You can unhide the tabs. So that's other way. You can hide the tabs. You can. Other thing I want to show you is, See, usually when we have create a Excel, we get these lines, right? Right. See, but any of my tabs do not have extra lines, right? How to do that? So, so go here, File and Options. Under Options, Advanced, I think a lot of options are here where show grid lines. You can just take it out. Now it becomes very clean if it works. Okay, see, become very clean. Now, whatever you want to create, you can create and you can print. So those unnecessary lines won't come. Are there more questions?
No.
Okay. So let me just then summarize. So what we did was we did data management where we showed you how to sort things, how to remove duplicates, how to do formatting, how to do validations, where is yes, no. You can do much more than that. You can highlight, right? All those things you can do. Then there's the data manipulation. We talked about how to create formulas, absolute reference versus where, when you go here, where the dollar sign, I told you, F4 will you create, right? That's the time it really keeps that cell constant and you can do that. That's absolute reference versus relative reference. Then I showed you VLOOKUP for grades, how powerful that is. You change it at one place. If you have any code tables or anything that is code, you change it here, everything else changes. Then we talked about pure tables. No, we talked about data visualization, which is how to create charts, how to create different types of charts, how you can create some of the cool charts that we talked about, how to create dynamic charts, right, where data changes. Then we talked about data refresh, where when you have an external website, if you want to get your data into your Excel sheet as the data changes in the website, you want the data to be changed in Excel, and you can have your own formula created. You can have your own charts created based on that. So whenever the data gets updated, when the stock price is updated, with the exchange rate updated, whatever it is, right? Or you have a school website, something is updated, you want to see it here, and all that you can do. And then we talked about pivot tables. I think is very very important. Once you know pivot tables, I think the word becomes much more simpler. Excel becomes much more simpler. And finally, we talked about automating work through macros because there are so many things you can do just by clicking on a macro. Um, any manual work, repetitive work, you can avoid mistakes. And you don't need to know Visual Basics or any other language. All you have to do is record the macro, and then it does it for you. So if you need this template, um, you can email it to me, lancymark@gmail.com, and you can also find me at LinkedIn at this address. Also, it's a part of MCAC. We are doing this Empower series once a month, uh, and we have been doing this since last year on different topics. We'll have other technical topics. If you have any questions or if you want to get any topic, if you want to be a speaker at any of our events once a month, we have not only technical topics, this is a technical track, but there are other health tracks, the finance track, and there are so many other tracks. You can talk about about investing, about health, about yoga, or anything that you want. If you want to be a speaker, or if you know someone who wants to speak, we'll have these topics every month on the fourth Sunday of the month at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Mark, for simplifying a few advanced concepts of Excel. I'm sure all this was very useful. And just want to tell everybody that you can replay back this session. And yeah, for some things you didn't understand, probably you can approach Mark. And a few announcements. We are taking a break for summer and we'll be resuming our sessions back in September. So till then, all of you have a great summer. All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Bye. Let me see how to stop this.